BTS Taehyung World Tour in Mexico City was already expected to become one of the biggest music events of the year. Long before the concerts even began, thousands of fans had already filled the streets surrounding Estadio GNP Seguros wearing purple outfits, carrying banners, and singing BTS songs together as if the entire city had temporarily transformed into a giant celebration for the group. Restaurants played BTS music non-stop, stores decorated their windows with purple lights, and fans from different countries traveled across continents just to witness the historic Mexico shows. But among all the excitement, performances, and global headlines surrounding BTS's return, one thing slowly became impossible to ignore. International media seemed unusually focused on Kim Taehyung. Again and again, articles, thumbnails, fan discussions, and viral clips kept centering around him, as if he had somehow become the emotional symbol of the entire Mexico tour without even trying. At first, many people assumed the attention was simply because of his visuals. After all, Taehyung has always been known as one of the most visually captivating artists in the world. Cameras naturally gravitate toward him. Whether he is standing silently under dim stage lights or casually smiling during an airport appearance, there has always been something cinematic about his presence. But this time, the situation felt different. The media attention surrounding Taehyung in Mexico was no longer just about appearance. It was about atmosphere, emotion, presence. And the deeper people looked into the Mexico concerts, the more obvious it became that Taehyung had quietly become the face of the tour's emotional narrative. Everything surrounding BTS's arrival in Mexico already felt much larger than a normal concert schedule. Fans filled airports, hotels, restaurants, and even public squares hoping to catch a glimpse of the members. Some international media outlets even described the atmosphere as resembling a national celebration rather than a music event. But the moment that truly changed the narrative happened before the concerts officially began. BTS appeared together with Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum at the National Palace in Mexico City, greeting massive crowds of fans gathered outside. The images instantly spread across international media and social platforms. Suddenly, this was no longer simply about a K-pop concert. It looked like a cultural event important enough to involve an entire country. And among the 7 BTS members standing there, many cameras seemed repeatedly drawn toward Taehyung. Not because he was trying to dominate the attention. In fact, the opposite was true. He looked calm, respectful, soft-spoken, and completely natural despite standing in one of the most surreal moments of the group's career. While many celebrities often appear overly performative in political or formal settings, Taehyung carried himself with quiet elegance that immediately captured people's attention. International fans quickly began discussing the way he interacted with everyone around him, from staff members to government officials to fans gathered below the balcony. Small gestures that might normally go unnoticed suddenly became viral topics online. The way he smiled politely while listening, the way he adjusted himself carefully around others, the way he looked genuinely present in the moment rather than simply performing for cameras. Many fans later realized something important. Taehyung was not attracting attention because he was loud. He was attracting attention because he made people feel comfortable. And in today's entertainment industry, where so many public figures constantly compete to appear bigger, louder, and more shocking than everyone else, Taehyung's calm energy felt strangely refreshing. International media slowly began framing him differently during the Mexico tour. Not just as a handsome idol or fashion icon, but as someone who represented warmth and emotional connection on a global scale. Then came the concert nights themselves. From the very beginning, the atmosphere inside Estadio GNP Seguros felt electric. Tens of thousands of purple light sticks illuminated the massive stadium, while fans screamed so loudly that the sound seemed to shake the entire venue. Every BTS member received overwhelming cheers, but Taehyung's appearance consistently created some of the loudest reactions of the night. Yet the moment that truly exploded across social media happened when he appeared wearing a traditional Mexican-style cowboy hat during the concert. The crowd instantly erupted into deafening screams. Fans could hardly believe what they were seeing. But what made the moment so powerful was not simply the hat itself. It was how natural Taehyung looked wearing it. Nothing about the moment felt forced or artificial. It did not feel like a celebrity wearing cultural clothing merely for aesthetics or internet attention. Instead, it felt genuine, warm, respectful. Fans across Mexico immediately embraced the gesture, because Taehyung seemed to wear it with sincere appreciation rather than performance. International media quickly picked up on the moment, with countless articles and social posts describing him as embodying a cowboy rock star aura throughout the concert. Videos of him smiling under the stadium lights while wearing the black cowboy hat spread rapidly across social media platforms within minutes. But perhaps the biggest reason why international media chose Taehyung as the symbol of the Mexico tour was because of how naturally he connected with people emotionally. Throughout the concerts, he repeatedly walked toward the edges of the stage, waving carefully toward fans sitting in the highest sections of the stadium. He slowed down to read signs. He smiled directly at audience members. He laughed freely with the other BTS members like someone genuinely enjoying every second rather than simply completing another tour schedule. Many fans later admitted that watching Taehyung during the Mexico concerts felt deeply personal, even from faraway seats. Somehow, despite standing in front of tens of thousands of people, he still managed to create moments that felt intimate. Then came one of the most emotional moments of the entire tour. During the ending ment section of the concert, the atmosphere inside the stadium suddenly became quieter. The members stood together at the front of the stage while fans continued waving purple lights across the dark arena. When it became Taehyung's turn to speak, the crowd immediately screamed in anticipation. Wearing the cowboy hat and holding the microphone carefully, he began speaking to Mexican fans in Spanish. The moment his first words were heard, the entire stadium exploded emotionally. Fans screamed, cried, and covered their faces in disbelief. His pronunciation was not perfect, but that only made the moment feel even more sincere. People could hear the effort in his voice. They could feel that he genuinely wanted to connect with local fans in their own language. International media quickly described the moment as one of the emotional highlights of BTS's Mexico concerts. Videos of fans crying while listening to Taehyung speak Spanish spread rapidly online. Many people pointed out that Taehyung has always possessed a unique ability to make emotional moments feel authentic rather than scripted. He never sounds rehearsed when expressing gratitude. He never feels distant from fans. Instead, his emotions often appear quiet, honest, and deeply human. That emotional transparency became one of the defining characteristics of the entire Mexico tour. Even small moments involving Taehyung suddenly became viral topics. One clip showing him happily eating a Mexican banderia during the concert spread across international social media almost instantly. Objectively, it was an incredibly simple moment. A global superstar smiling while eating local food. Yet fans everywhere became obsessed with it because the moment felt so unexpectedly human. In an industry where celebrities often appear carefully controlled and overly polished, Taehyung's casual happiness felt real. Fans loved seeing him genuinely enjoying the atmosphere, culture, and energy of Mexico rather than treating the concerts as just another stop on a tour schedule. As the days passed, more and more international media outlets began using Taehyung's images and moments to represent BTS's Mexico era. Some articles focused on his calm and elegant behavior during the National Palace appearance. Others focused on his emotional interactions with fans during the concerts. Some highlighted his fashion and cultural moments, while others discussed his growing influence as a global cultural figure beyond music itself. But despite the different angles, almost all the narratives seemed to lead toward the same conclusion. Taehyung had become the emotional center of the Mexico tour. And perhaps the most fascinating part was that he achieved all of this without aggressively chasing attention. Taehyung never appeared desperate to dominate headlines or create viral moments. In fact, many of his most iconic Mexico moments happened naturally while he was simply existing comfortably within the atmosphere around him. That may be exactly why people connected with him so strongly. Because audiences today are incredibly sensitive to authenticity. People can easily sense when celebrities are forcing moments for attention. But Taehyung's presence throughout Mexico felt effortless, genuine, human. By the final night of the Mexico concerts, the emotional atmosphere inside the stadium had become overwhelming. Fans cried while waving their light sticks as the ending songs played. The members stood together quietly, looking out at the endless ocean of purple lights filling the venue. And among them, Taehyung continued waving carefully toward every section of the stadium, as if trying to remember every face and every voice surrounding him that night. Even when the closing music began playing, he remained near the edge of the stage, smiling warmly toward fans who clearly did not want the moment to end. In the end, BTS's Mexico concerts became much more than successful performances. They became a cultural moment powerful enough to capture international attention, far beyond music itself. And at the center of that emotional narrative stood Kim Taehyung. Not because he demanded the spotlight, but because his quiet warmth, sincerity, and emotional presence naturally became the image people remembered most. While fireworks exploded, fans screamed, and headlines spread across the world, Taehyung somehow made even the largest moments feel deeply personal. And perhaps that is the real reason international media chose him as the symbol of BTS's Mexico tour. Because Kim Taehyung is not simply someone people watch on stage. He is someone people feel long after the music ends.